In the heart of Africa's wilderness lies a delicate equation, one that governs life, death, and the very survival of ecosystems. It's called carrying capacity, the maximum number of animals an environment can sustainably support. When that balance is broken, the consequences echo across the landscape for generations. Carrying capacity is the natural threshold, the number of animals a habitat can support without degrading the environment. Beyond this, vegetation fails to regenerate. Water becomes scarce, and biodiversity begins to unravel. No species reflects this delicate balance more powerfully than the African elephant. Majestic, intelligent, and essential to their environment. Elephants are keystone species, shaping the very ecosystems they inhabit. But even they can become a force of destruction if their numbers outpace what the land can endure. In large numbers, elephants become ecosystem engineers, but not always for the better. They tear down old-growth trees that support birds and smaller mammals, collapse riverbanks, and outcompete others for vital resources. The issue isn't about how many elephants need to be protected. It's about how many the land can sustain while preserving the balance for all species. This is Madikwe Game Reserve, once hailed as a triumph of ecological restoration in South Africa. In the 1990s, Madikwe was transformed from farmland into a wildlife haven, with over 10,000 animals reintroduced, including elephants. But over time, the elephant populations grew unchecked. Without natural predators and with limited land area, their numbers soared, surpassing the land's carrying capacity. Slowly, silently, the elephants consumed more than the ecosystem could regenerate. Trees that once provided shade, food, and shelter were uprooted and stripped. Riverbanks eroded, bird life vanished. With vegetation gone, other species struggled to survive. What began as an act of conservation became an ecological collapse. In protected reserves with no natural predators or migration routes, elephant populations can double every 10 to 15 years. Left unchecked, they can transform once diverse wilderness into silent grasslands. The first to suffer are the slow breeders, antelope, small browsers, and rare bird species. The ripple effect soon reaches apex predators, and then the land itself. What took centuries to flourish can collapse in decades. Solutions exist, but they require courage and commitment. Translocation, fertility control, habitat expansion, and even culling. A word that ignites debate, yet is sometimes the only path to ecological stability. These interventions are not acts of cruelty, but of stewardship. Done ethically and strategically, they restore the rhythm of life for elephants and for everything they share the land with. The lesson is clear. In a closed system like a game reserve, nature cannot self-correct. Without large-scale migration routes and apex predators, intervention becomes not just necessary, but urgent. Across southern Africa, game reserves are now embracing science-based management, calculating carrying capacity, monitoring habitat health, and making the difficult decisions of controlled translocations, fertility management, even when necessary, culling. These actions are never taken lightly, but they are acts of triage, of choosing long-term survival over short-term sentiment. Because when we ignore carrying capacity, we don't just risk overpopulation. We risk losing everything. In the wild, harmony is not a given. It must be protected, managed, and earned every single day.
Content